Next up is a timely report from Tyler Palmer, a reminder of snow removal procedure process. I'm still waiting for the emergency declaration.
That's not what Wayne Olson said today.
Tyler, I've got a question. I don't want to know if you're feeling a little more at home looking out your window today.
Yeah.
Having come from snow country.
Yeah, I thought I got lied to when I moved up here. They said it snowed every once in a while, and last year we ended up putting plow blades on the ground twice all winter long, and so this is a little more like it. All right, yeah, this report, we just wanted to update the committee on the snow removal operations. We had some alterations last year in conjunction with the snow routes that were designated, and so basically just wanted to run through and field any questions you might have, and it turned out to be very timely since we had a blizzard warning declared for the area about 45 minutes ago, so it could be a fun night.
First one I remember, having lived in the Northwest for 30 years.
Yeah, I've not recalled it. They tick off the winter storm warning. Oh, okay. Well, now it's a blizzard warning,
Yeah.
which I guess is a little more severe.
Which makes it a little more fun. Over the last year, we've really been trying to department-wide identify areas that we could become more efficient. And in the snow removal operation, one of the biggest areas that we can improve in efficiency is to have our equipment calibrated and use the right tool for the right snow condition that we're encountered with. We run into a lot of different conditions with snow removal. It's not as simple as putting a snow blade down and pushing it to the side in every situation, depending on temperature and the moisture content of the snow and what the weather's going to do the next day. It makes a big difference as far as how we're going to attack each storm. And so really education of our crew is a big deal. So this year we've compiled a handbook that each of the drivers has in the vehicle with them that gives them guidelines as far as how they need to go about removing snow. And what we want to do is just become more organized and efficient in that area so that there's not a question when a guy comes in as far as what vehicle he needs to be in, what route he needs to be in, and what he needs to be doing as far as which materials to apply at what rate. And by so doing, we can really improve our efficiency and improve the level of service to the citizens of the city of Moscow. So that's something that we're pretty excited about. We've changed some of the distribution methods for some of our materials and saved some money there. We saved about 20% on our salt. We've gotten a better rock product at a better price this year. So we're really optimistic that as I was just telling the guys, we had our snow kickoff meeting 3 weeks ago, and I told them I sure hope we get some good storms this year so that we can test some of these operations and work out some of the operational kinks. And
You're to blame for this.
I'm to blame. So typically in a typical storm, we will go out when it's forecasted and the weather allows. We'll try and do anti-icing, especially in areas that have been identified along the snow routes, in areas where we have schools, hills, major intersections, to try and keep the ice from forming, keep the road from becoming slick, and also to keep a bond from forming with the pavement so that when we do come through and plow, then it comes off more clean. We focus on the higher priority routes are typically the routes where we have either high-risk individuals in the area, like schools, where we have a lot of children around, and also where we have the highest ADT, the highest traffic counts on the street. Work our way through, try and get those areas clear and keep them clear, and then we work our way into subdivisions, try and hit the more heavily used routes in the subdivision, and then work our way down to where we're doing cleanup, doing cul-de-sacs, knuckles, dead ends, the areas that see less traffic. We have a fleet of snow removal equipment. We have 6 different larger trucks with plows. 4 of those have spreaders. We have 3 graders. We have a smaller spreader truck. We have 2 one-ton trucks with smaller plows on them that are typically used for cul-de-sacs, knuckles, dead ends, parking lots, that sort of thing. We have 2 tool cats that are used by the Parks Department primarily in their efforts to keep sidewalks clear, and they also do trails and parking lots as well. That's really the long and short of the operation, we had the new ordinance passed that gives us the ability, you'll recall, to declare a snow removal event, and that gives us the ability to have vehicles moved off of some primary routes when we do have some very heavy situations and we need to get them moved out of the way. We'd like to avoid doing the first one on Thanksgiving week when a lot of people have family in town and a lot of students are out of town with vehicles, so we'll see how the storm goes, but there is the potential that we might see our first one. So we'll see. We'll kind of see how that goes from there. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys might have about the snow removal operations.
Tim?
How many of the grader blades have the doors?
We have 3 graders now. The 3rd grader was just delivered, and all 3 of them have snow gates.
Snow gates?
Yeah.
And is it impossible to put a snow gate on the trucks?
It's not, and that is something that we have a vehicle, one of the trucks and Sanders is being replaced this year, and that's something that we're considering doing on that vehicle, is adding that to the vehicle. As we do our operation, typically the trucks will go in and make a pass each way to try and have a safe path, and then as weather permits, we'll go ahead and do that final pushback where we push it up against the curb using the gates to keep it out of driveways, which is something that's new to me. We hadn't done that. I was in an area where we hadn't used the snow gates, so we were able to just plow in tandem and let people dig out, and so it's a nice service that's provided, and so that's something that we want to expedite that process and try and find ways that we can make that quicker so it doesn't take as long a time once we start that process, because right now, previously with 2 graders, just getting them out there and getting through that process took a significant amount of time.
I think he's just more excited than a 6-year-old, or a skier for that matter.
I actually really enjoy it. I must be more, but it'll beat you down when it's a long storm and it keeps going. Some of these storms like this, it's nice when it comes and dumps 6 inches and goes away and you can clean it up. And so some of these will wear on you, but it's fun. It's a fun thing to tinker with and try and get right.
So in that vein, you're going to be plowing through the storm with what they're forecasting till 10 a.m. tomorrow. You can't wait till it's over.
Well,
is that correct? That's
correct. The difficult thing with a storm like this is trying to balance. We don't want to waste materials, so we don't want to put something out to go back and plow it off in an hour. And so we have to have the safety of the traveling public is the first priority. And so we try and in a storm like this where it's dragging out, but we know that the bulk of it's going to hit us here in the next few hours through about 6 or 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. We have crews that are still out there now. We have 3 trucks out there now with plows and spreaders that are still hitting areas, fielding calls from Whitcomb, trying to keep an eye on trouble spots, slick spots, intersections, keeping them passable, getting people home from school and work. But then the bulk of the crew will be coming in to start a massive cleanup at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning, unless the storm passes sooner. We have to, once the eye of the storm gets by us and it starts to taper off, that's when we really get out full force and start the cleanup effort. We have to try and balance safety being first priority and then keeping an eye on efficiency. We don't want to be burning diesel fuel and burning plow blades and beating up trucks without a good cause, and so we try and wait until the storm is waning to really hit it full force, and so that'll happen in the early a.m. hours tomorrow morning.
I don't have anything else for Tyler. I do have a question for Chief Duke, if he wouldn't mind.
Sure.
Thank you, Tyler.
I think you're still AC, dude.
AC? Okay.
DC, AC. Yeah, there you go.
Just wondered if you have any comments or concerns about the blizzard forecast and your folks working out there and the ability to manage all this.
No. Well, we're always concerned, especially after last week's windstorm, that we were told that we would have some winds, and they were significant. But as far as our crews handling it, we're starting to have accidents now because the temperature's going down and the streets are getting slick. All the assistance that the streets can provide to make those safe, we'll notify them and ask them to come out.
Well, I don't have anything.
Works for me.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Anything